till maybe 2.5 hours. We had a great fun together. All right, let's move on to this topic. I love the pace of innovation from Tableau always. Every single quarter, I can always expect a lot of great new features came out of Tableau. If you are not upgrade your server frequently yet, you should. I try my best to upgrade my server 2 to 3 times a year. I have 2 servers. One is on 19.3 already. Another one is on 19.1. The last few quarters, tons of new features. I'm not going to walk through those new features one by one, but try to highlight something if you don't have any of those yet. 18.2 started with Tableau Server Manager. That's a TSM new architecture. Tableau does not change architectures often at all on the server, but that was one which brings tons of new features, like you can dynamically swap backgrounders and the query dynamically without any downtime. 18.3 set action is people saying that was the biggest feature came after LOD. For me, my favorite is multi-table extracts. For your rule-level security use cases, it is a game changer. And 19.1, of course, ask data, and also has the new data management add-on partial feature called Tableau Prep Conductor, which I'll cover more later on soon. 19.2 started with new home, and also they started to change the menu from top to left. You will see very soon if you don't have this version yet. And also each site can have your own starter page. And 19.3, of course, that's what we plan to cover today. Tons of new features, especially big features around the server, which is why I wanted to show people about those features, what it means for us inside and outside. Let's dive into those 19.3 new features. Start with explain data. Tableau not only has these to show what, but also why. I know you want to see it. Let's go to the demo right away. All right, going to my favorite superstore. As you can see, the version I'm using about Tableau Server is 19.3. Okay, let me get my mouse. Click, and also my mouse focus. So I'm here 9.3. I'm looking at one this called customer ranking. If I click this ranking number 1, of course it shows me keep, exclude, and other details. Okay, I do not see the explain data new feature yet. That feature is only available in a web edit on the server or on the desktop. I click the web edit, as you can see, starting the web editing mode. Okay. Now I go back to this same customer ranking. When I click this, one of the bars, for example, this one, you notice my click, the red. Now I see a few more things came up. Okay. There's a grouping thing. There's a small little icon. It's called explain data. It's hard to find this icon though, if you don't know where it is. Click this. Okay. It starts with a detailed additional views, tell you why this value is this value. For example, this value is number 1 on the ranking, has 24,000 something sum, definitely higher than expected, and some possible reasons why. Here we go, more details on why. This marker contains 13 records. One record with a value of 22,000, which is increasing the total sum. if this extreme value is excluded, the sum changes from 24,000 to like less than 2,000. And explain to you what is this outlier, and also show you a chart, this outlier versus all the other 12 records. And it goes a little bit more actually. If this outlier is taken out, this sum of the cells, it became the bottom number 5 versus top 1. Think about that. That is a cool additional info about this data. What is behind? Why this became number 1? Okay, because one outlier. Okay. Again, this feature is only available at Web Edit. I'm going to exit Web Edit without saving. Okay, and go back to my slides. We saw very quick the demo. The intent of explain data is try to answer why faster and try to discover additional insights and give you additional information, what happened and why that happened. Again, unfortunately, it's only available at web editor mode for now. And of course, it's also available in the desktop. I do have idea. I would love to see this feature to be available in the regular Tableau views, even without going to web edit. So I create this idea. Feel free to vote if you think is the right thing to do. If you go to the Tableau idea, if you search explain data, there are not so many ideas so far for that. Okay, you'll find this one. 10405. Move on next. Encryption at rest. Why? Why we need this feature? What's the reason? Why Tableau developed this encryption feature at all? Most Americans, they worry about the hacking of the personal data more than any other crimes. And probably more than half of people info got hacked before. And also the government's additional regulations, additional rules about your personal data, customer data, employee data frequently required companies to encrypt the data. Becomes something more and more, you have to do it. So what is at rest, encryption at rest? This is a term that's being used in the security industry. If you look for the data on the server, the data can be at rest, means stored in a database or sitting in a file system, or can be in transit. In transit means either going to network, between network and the database, or between your database and your memory, and between the temporary files and where the database is. That's all the kind of in transit. And then third category is in use, very likely is in memory. So what is Tableau's encryption scope? Clearly, only focus on at rest, means the hyperdata in the file store. It does not do any in transit, does not take care any of the in-memory ones. If you think it's a good thing as well. And even for the file stores, for the data in file store, there are some exceptions, which also makes sense if you think the metadata, TWB, TDS, are not encrypted. If you upload Excel, JSON, and so on, CSV, those not encrypted either, even they are in a file store. So the only thing is encrypted is .hyperfile in the hyperstore. That is the scope of encryption at rest. What are the use cases? Of course, most important is complying with whatever data protection mandates. For me, I'm a server admin for the last few years. This is one of the things that concerns me. When the Tableau server is getting very large and with so many hundreds of thousands publishers, we have been telling the publishers that do not publish any personal data on Tableau server because Tableau server did not have encryption feature. However, I have no way to validate, to enforce this. So it has been a pretty big risk for me as a server admin that people publish the personal data, and what if the data gets hacked? So it's whose fault? Is the publisher's fault or is the server admin's fault? This is a gray area because I have no way to enforce it. I have no way to give them, I have no way for them to encrypt it. So finally, the encryption at rest came. Actually, it gives me, a server admin, a peace of mind, which is why I really like this feature. I believe this feature is our employer's ask. We've been asking these features for the last few years. I'm so glad finally we have it. Now, let's talk a bit more about this feature. A lot of misunderstanding about this feature. Okay. This feature is to restrict potential hackers from seeing your data. This is one use case, okay? The data is sitting on your server. If it gets hacked, the hackers will need additional encryption keys to read the files, basically additional layer of security, okay? And also it restricts your network team and operating system users who officially they have access to your file store data, likely, okay? If they are the server admins on OS level. Some large enterprise companies, we always have application layer admins like me, Tableau. We got operating system admins, the separate team. We got network admins, again, a separate team. For sure, those OS admins, they have access to the file system of the host server, okay? In the past, they will be able to get the file store data if they want, and they can open them using Tableau Desktop, for example. I'm not saying they will, but if they are able to do so. Although they do not have Tableau application username password. Okay. Now with the encryption at rest, they can still get the file store specific files. However, they will not be able to open the file because the data can be encrypted. Now let's be very clear. What does not do is that it does not restrict Tableau server admins from seeing your extracts on the server. Again, it does not restrict Tableau server admins from seeing your extracts on the server. And this is actually one feature asked by many teams and the publishers. They will like some data, some more secret extracts to not be seen by server admins. Unfortunately, it's not easy way unless you design row-level security, for example, okay, in your public data sources. Otherwise, by default, admins, we have super privilege. We are able to see all the workbooks. We're able to see all the extracts, unless, again, the extracts is a public data source with row-level security. On the other side, Tableau is working on kind of new called blind admin feature, where some server admins, they can only do the admin work, for example, backup, for example, maintenance. So they do not have the Tableau permission to see workbooks and views. That's a new feature Tableau is building. Should be coming next year, that's what I heard. But again, this encryption at rest is not restrict Tableau server admins from seeing your extracts. All right, I talked a lot. Let's look at this feature. Let's see a demo. I know you want to see the demo. Okay, encryption at rest feature. I'm going to the demo. Go to Explorer. In this case, I'm going to select data source. Let's say I'm going to look at, I can look at the Superstore, for example, as a data source. Now, first of all, when I go to data source, as you can see, this is encrypted. That's where the feature is. Here we go. See that? And I can change this to unencrypted if I want, which I'm just doing right now. It's working as a small background job, and now it's done because data is not so big. I can change it back anytime because I'm the owner of this data source. See, I change it back. Now you notice, no matter this data source is encrypted or not, I can always see everything. Okay. Since I have permission to see this data, it doesn't stop you doing anything if you have permission for the data source or for the workbook, if even the data is encrypted, which is a nice design if you think. The reason why is that technically, the reason why is although this extract is encrypted, but when it's loaded into memory, when we are here, it's already in memory, it's decrypted automatically. I say I can still do exactly the same thing, like I'm doing ask data. What is total sales by state, for example? Okay, and this, by the way, this is the ask data feature of 2019.1. So for me, as a user, I see no difference when I access the data because it's in the memory. Again, in memory, in use is not encrypted. Tableau automatically decrypt when gets into the memory. Okay, all right, which is why there's no, you don't feel it even. Okay. By the way, this is again, this is the new feature. You can embed this ask data to your portal or to your website somewhere. This again is, I think this is available in 19.3 new feature or 19.2, I forgot. All right, this is one example. Let me look at the setting because I have this, I can choose to encrypt it or not. The setting I have here for this site, look at, there is one new setting on the site level. Okay, where it is, here we go. This is the setting I wanted to show you. Extract encryption at rest. There are 3 options you can for each site after you upgrade to 19.3. Is disabled by default, or you can choose enable it. Enable means allow users to optionally encrypt their extracts for this site, or it can enforce it. When you click enforce it, basically all the extracts published and stored on this site will be encrypted all the time. Depends on your use case, you make your decision. For me, for this demo, for my site, default site, I choose enable, which is why I go to, that's why I go to my data source or workbook. I can even go to my workbook. Let me go to one of my workbook, regional, for example, I can go to my workbook. It's even not my workbook, owned by publisher too. However, since I'm admin, I can still change it. I can still change encryption status. All right, let's go back to my slides. Now I'm going to dive into a little bit more behind the scene. Since we are admins, we want to know more than what just on the portal, on the form. When encryption or decryption happens, it happens in many different cases automatically to make our end user's life easier. When you initially publish, and if it is encrypted, and every extract refreshed, once it's done, another background job will run to encrypt the extracts automatically. Or you can still use tab command to do the extracts outside Tableau. When you send to Tableau using the API, it will encrypt it. I use REST API, of course. It's also doing the encryption. Anytime if you download a workbook or data source, it will decrypt it for you automatically. So the data you have after download is not encrypted anymore. It's decrypted automatically. And as admin, you can change encryption mode if you want. Also, you can rotate encryption keys if you want. Those things normally we don't do often. But if you do, it will change. It will encrypt everything again. And also the backup. Every time you do a backup, again, it will change from encrypted to decrypted, and then encrypt again. Again, the scope, remember the beginning slides I showed you? The encryption scope does not include in transit, does not include in memory. Anything in between, it will change to regular. And then it will encrypt again in a backup. More technical details. Don't know if you care algorithm used. Number two is nobody has to know the encryption key. The server manages the key automatically. There's a whole chain, key chain on the server using one master key, manage different keys. As whole, everything is automatically behind the scenes did for us. That's very good. Encryption at rest is a background job. You can see the background job actually if you want, but most of those are very quick. The backup, we care. The question is, do you need or do we need an encryption key when we restore it? The answer is no. The backup file has all the information needed to restore automatically. Tableau makes this very easy for us. We don't need to carry separate encryption key when we need to restore from the backup. All right, I know you also have this question. I have this question for like 2 months since earlier beta. What is the impact with encryption? What means for server resources? My CPU, memory, loading time. That's what we care a lot. I do not have my data yet, although since my server was upgraded only a week ago, I'm still trying to gather my own data points, what it means for my own server. But based on the documentation from Tableau, based on some testing I have done so far, very small scale testing, you almost don't feel the loading time difference, the render time. Reason why? Remember, the render time, when you click the view, it gets the extracts from file store and then encrypt it and decrypt it in memory. Most of the time, if you look into the very few milliseconds, most time is spent should be reading from the disk. That's much slower process than decryption, encryption in a memory, because reading from disk, that's what gets the extracts from file store. That's what most time takes. Once the file encrypt the file in the memory, then decrypt the process, decryption does not take much time. So that's why the V's load time does not impact too much. And also, once the extract is in memory, then ongoing additional queries, you don't need to decrypt anymore. It's in memory. Again, memory is not encrypted. What's impact for the backgrounder? So far, I don't see much. However, the more potential impact will be your backup size. Depends on how much how much extracts will be encrypted on your server. Why the size changes a lot? Basically, it's because any encrypted files, the compression doesn't work much at all. So there's almost no compression. That's the reason why you will expect backup size higher, depends on how much you do. All right, we talked about already that you can control the encryption at each site level. Unfortunately, Tableau's default is disabled. I would love to see it is enabled. I think enforce is too aggressive, but disable right after upgrade, I think it's too conservative. So I created the idea to encrypt, to have the site default as enabled. If you think it's the right thing to do, help to vote it. I think that's all I'm going to share, plus one more. Who can change, who has the permission to change from encrypted to the encryption mode? Earlier I showed you I can change that, but who has permission to change? I did my testing. I'm always big on permissions. Of course, if you're the workbook or data source owner, you have permission, of course, or if you're admins, you can. But what about project leaders? What do you think, project leaders? Should project leaders or project owners be able to change the encryption mode? I will think is yes, but at this 19.3.0 release is no. The answer is no. I tested myself. If you are a project leader, you cannot change the encryption mode. All right, I think that's all I have for the encryption. The rest, let me do a recap. It's an awesome feature for data production. I love it, with a lot of flexibilities that you can control the site level, workbook level, data source level, and pretty easy to use. You don't have to know the key, you don't have to remember the key, and the users, interactors, you even don't need to worry about it. Very easy, very nicely designed feature. Be aware the scope is only hyper extracts in the file store. Excel, CSV, and the JSON files not included. Any temporary files in memory not included. Just be aware. That's why it's called encryption at rest. Now the impact, we talk about almost no impact for the render time backgrounder. And unfortunately, there are can be some significant size impact for your backups. And no additional license needed. Soon as you upgrade to your 19.3, you will have this feature. All right, let me see if there are some quick questions. How much is add-on? I'll talk about add-on, Jeff asking. I'll talk about add-on, the dollars. Second question, Balaji. We have been providing Tableau infrastructure support to our customers. Recently upgrade from 10.4 to 19.1. However, ask data and the Elastic server process is broken in the mode. Is this the expected behavior? No, you should work with Tableau support if ask data is not working. It's supposed to work 19.1. But I do find ask data has some technical challenges sometimes. The Elastic server can crash. Yeah, I know it. It happens to me as well. Again, Balaji, can we, let me go. Answer live. Okay. We did this already. Okay, let me see. Can we discuss ask data feature from data source in TSM instead of going through individual sound of data source? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, Balaji, you want ask data feature in the TSM? Go ahead, submit your idea, please. Brian has a question. Is there any performance impact on using encryption? I talked about it already. The performance for render, I don't feel it. Performance for extracts, I'll have more data coming. I think it's tiny. Anil had a question. Is there risk in encrypt all database data sources? Actually, that's what I plan to do for one of my servers. I do not see much risk. What I plan to do is I will do encryption for all of my sites, all the data sources. I want to find out what is the impact because I have the before and after data. Based on that, I'll fine tune it. That's my approach. I'm going to try it in the next few weeks. Graham, does setting encryption to enforce any existing extracts? Yes, it will enforce all the existing extracts and also all the ongoing ones will be enforced as well automatically. Yes. Kim had a question. Has Tableau server improved its logging, for example, keeping a journey of permission addition, blah, blah, blah? Okay, that's a good question. Actually, I believe Tableau has different logging levels you can set. By default, as the info, you can set additional ones if you want. But I don't know if captured permission changes at all. That's, you have to submit ideas. Chong, for encryption, if you rotate the key, does the backup using old encryption key can still restore? I don't know. That's a good question. If you rotate the key or the backup using the old key can still restore. I do not know. That's a very good question. If you are serious, try to find it out. I really don't know. I didn't try that before. Philip, who all come under OS users? They are restricted to read extracts. Well, for example, in my case, in that OS users restriction to read extract files that may not apply to your company. For example, in my workplace, there is a server admin team. There is separate OS team. The OS team, they are the admins as well on the server. They have the file level access. That's what I meant. They will not get into the file store to read my extracts, but if they want, they are able to. Now, with the encryption at rest, even they are able to get the file, they cannot read it from, for example, even a desktop. Pradeep, can OS admin open encrypted hyperfile on a desktop? No. No. You can read the encrypted hyperfile if you download it from Tableau server, okay? Because when you download it, Tableau server automatically decrypted it. When you download it, you have permission to access it. But if the admins, using the OS admins or the hackers that do not have the Tableau level permission, but that go through the file system, either legally or hacking into the file system, they cannot read the file. That's the feature, encryption at rest feature. All right, I think I answered all those questions. Let's move on next. All right, we covered encryption at rest. We covered explain data. Next, I'm going to talk about data management add-on. Jeff asking what is the price? I know this question will come up. I'm prepared to answer. What is the price? What is the least price? Before I do so, I'm not related to any Tableau sales activities. I'm not trying to sell you anyone license at all. All the info I see here, I'm going to show you is from tableau.com. It's public information. My intent is to help us to understand the very confusing, very complex Tableau pricing model. Again, I'm not Tableau. I'm actually Tableau's customer. All right, the list price for Tableau subscription. I know some of us still using the core. Nothing wrong. Okay, they never officially have a list price for core anymore. But for the subscriptions, this is the list price. You got creators. They can do desktop, can do a prep. You have explorers. They can do web edit. You have viewers do the regular stuff without web edit. Additional add-ons, Tableau is charging. Do I like this idea? No. But also, I think it makes sense. So the entry level for those subscriptions will be lower versus increase the entry price for everyone. So I guess mainly the large customers, if you care these features, Tableau data management add-on or server add-on, you pay additional, get additional features. Okay? And this is the price from tableau.com. I'm trying to next slide. This slide try to show you an example how the pricing works with the subscriptions. Okay, let's say you have this many 100 creators, how many explorers, how many viewers. The key point I want to show you is that any add-ons you cannot buy partially. Means you cannot buy, for example, 1,000 add-ons only for those 1,000 users. Unfortunately, that's not how it works today. Today, the add-on module works. Again, that's my understanding from Tableau's pricing model. Today's add-on module works is if you plan to buy this add-on, for example, data management add-on, you have to buy the add-ons for every single user on the server, which in this example will be 2,100. You cannot buy 100 or 1,000. You have to buy 2,100. Same thing for server management add-ons. I know that I'll be getting a lot of questions. I don't know a lot of more details for this pricing. Okay. All right, I'm going to focus on more technical. So what is server management add-on? Mainly 4 features you'll be getting if you have this add-on. Do I have this add-on? I do. Our company, we bought it. I'm still trying to learn how that works for us. Number 1 is server resource monitoring. It monitors CPU, memory, log, views, render, and extracts. Basically, all those things you may have separate monitoring already. Tableau tries to give you all using one tool. The second is content migration. You can move workbook data source from between projects, sites, and server. Okay. And the third one is AWS Relational Database Service, RDS. It means that you can have your Tableau repository outside Tableau, hosted by AWS. Again, only applies to the situation where your Tableau server is on AWS. When your Tableau server is hosted on AWS, you can have additional, not additional, you can decide to have your Tableau repository to be hosted outside Tableau server by AWS RDS. Again, you have to pay additional license to AWS for this purpose. They intended to have better DR. Okay, when you use AWS RDS, that you can. Again, I'm reading documentation. I never tried this before yet. The DR can be about 2 minutes behind your production. 2 minutes behind from this repository perspective. That's very good if you are really serious about DR. Number 4 feature, background node optimization. Mainly 2 things. One is you can have a dedicated backgrounder for subscriptions only, for example. That can be cool for some use cases. And then the second part is you can have a file store that does not handle query, does not handle these query, but only take care of the extracts, for example. Do you really need this? I don't know. That's your situation. Based on what I have seen so far, again, this is only the version 0, so I don't think it has everything I was expecting yet. But again, this is the first version. I'm going to spend more time on the Tableau data management add-on, because the data management add-on for me is very mature, much better designed so far. It has the conductor piece, it has catalog piece. Okay, I'm going to drill down to each of those. Okay, the conductor. I'm going to cover what is a problem, try to solve, server setup, permissions, and so on. Before I look into the conductor, what can you do already without it? This is very important for us as an admin guys to understand what you can already do without Tableau Prep Conductor today. Using your Prep Builder, you can connect to many databases and you can build a flow. And then you can already send the extracts, which is the output of the Tableau Prep to the server. Not only that, there is a feature, Tab Prep command line feature. If you use a scheduler outside Tableau, use the Tableau Prep command line, you can automatically schedule the refresh of your flow outside Tableau already today. That feature is available. And of course, your interactors, the end consumers of the dashboard, will be getting refreshed data. You can already do all this today without Tableau Prep Conductor. What you cannot do, of course, is refresh the flow on Tableau server automatically by itself. That is a gap today, and that is what Tableau Prep Conductor is trying to address. It's very simple problem statement, but this is the number1 feature ask soon as the prep was released maybe 2 years back. Can Tableau refresh the flow automatically the same way as extracts are refreshed on the server? Basically, that's the feature. And Tableau's solution, you know already, that is Tableau Prep Conductor. However, Tableau decided to charge as an additional license as part of the data management add-on license. What this Prep Conductor do? Mainly 2 features here. One is you can publish the flow to server. Again, this is not publish the extracts. You can publish the extracts from your Tableau Prep already, but this is a publish the flow. Okay. The second piece, of course, is refresh the flow. Those are 2 key features as part of Tableau Prep Conductor. Let's see it. I'm going to my Tableau Prep Builder. I show you the version I have. Is hard for you to read. Is 19.3.1. However, this feature actually has been available since 19.1. I got my flow here, sample flow. I'm going to sign the server, which I already signed already. I'm going to double check where this goes. Since I got errors. Why I got a flow errors? I don't know. This is not what I wanted yet. Maybe I need to close this flow, start again, or sign out, sign again. Let's see. Sign again. Get my URL. This is a sample. Maybe timed out. Maybe it was timeout. All right, log in again. I think it was timed out. Default site. Okay, let me open another flow if that's the case. Okay, actually it's here. I'm publishing to a server. This is my server URL. I need to give the project of the server and the flow name. This is a flow name. I'm going to change that. Test flow demo. Okay. I'm going to run the flow if I want. Okay. Now, when I click run the flow, actually it pushes the extracts, not the flow itself. Okay. It's not flow. Just be aware. Okay. Publishing flow is different. Publishing flow is right here. This is a new feature. Okay. Run the flow feature has been there even without data management add-on license. However, data management add-on license, once you will have the publishing flow available. I'm clicking the publishing flow. Now, as you can see, this is flow name is different versus the data name. Okay, I'm going to call Superstore. Just call Superstore. Simple. I'm publishing the flow. It is published on my testing server. This is a flow. This is an image, not a clickable. The flow is there already. I can run the flow if I want. I can also schedule the flow that can run automatically by itself. I'm putting a schedule. I'm going to create a task. Okay, it's scheduled. I can, of course, see my running history. Now there's one going on in progress. Okay, I can also see this flow permissions, who have access to this flow, who can run, who can edit this flow, very similar as a data source or workbook permission process. Okay. What else I have here? This is very well designed. I can see the revision history. If I have multiple revisions of the flow, it's like almost you don't need a training. You can change the owners, same as the workbook extracts. Again, this is very similar. Okay. And now the flow finished completely. As you can see, I run history completed already. It's nice. It shows you not only, this is better than the extracts. It shows how many rules generated, 16 in this case. Very nice. All right, this is the Tableau Prep Conductor. I have the flow, publishing the flow piece. Okay. And let me show you the setups I have here. You notice that I have a Tableau Prep Conductor, and this site is checked, allow user to publish, manage, and schedule the flow. Okay, this is one setting at the site level. Another setting is that I'm going to the bottom. You will see it, or maybe not bottom. Okay, right here is that flow run and extract job failure notification. This is very nicely designed, similar as the extract failure notifications. Soon as your data management add-on license is enabled, you will see the flow notification, flow failure notification will be included automatically. And of course, it also has encryption job failure as well, if there's any. Okay. Very nice, very well designed. Very few training for your users. They can publish the flow, they can schedule the flow and everything. By the way, if you did not upgrade to 19.2 yet, for example, this is since 19.2, they changed the menu to the left side. All right, go back to my slides. Again, there's two key features. Now I'm going to go into the technical a little bit more. As a server admins, what are the setups necessary to have the Tableau Prep Conductor? 5 steps setups, many. Upgrade, of course, license, server configuration. I'll go to double click each of those, and the server schedule, server flow schedules. There are 2 optional, timeout setting and the file level setting. Okay. Of course, you need to upgrade to at least 19.1. Hopefully, you have 19.3. If you're using subscription mode license, you need to get add-on license key. If you use the core-based, you need 2 separate keys. One is activate data management key, and also you need a second one called resource core key, which I'll explain to you in next slide. First of all, the conductor is a background job only. It is installed automatically on any nodes that have backgrounders automatically by default. However, you don't have to have the conductor to be on every single background node. You can decide, for example, which I recommend, you only run the flow, which is a conductor, in one of the nodes to start with. You can control the flow a little bit. So in this setup, let's say I have a conductor on both node 1 and node 3, as you can see. 20 cores on node 1 and 8 cores on node 3. How many resource keys do I need? And of course, you need 28. You have to buy 28 cores from Tableau for data management resource key. Now, in this setup where I only have conductor configured on node 3, how many cores do I need? Now I need 8 cores. I'm assuming Tableau will sell you, will give you a price cheaper for 8 cores versus 28 cores. Talk with your sales account for this. This is server setup. Okay. Of course, you can turn on how to configure the conductor. This is the TSM command you will find from documentation. Step 3, of course, you need to set up a schedule for flow. Tableau schedules are independent. Extracts versus subscription versus flow. You need to set up a third type of flow schedules. Timeout, again, this is optional setting. By default, Tableau Conductor has 4.5 hours flow. Sorry, 4.5 hours timeout versus Extract is 2 hours. I will recommend to make the flow timeout as 2 hours as well. Server level, I showed you earlier, you can do, you can enable disable conductor for its site level, and of course you will enable email notifications unless you use your own Viz alert, as I do. I use Viz alert, so I have to change my own Viz alert to include the flow type failures. So this a recap. Again, there's a 5-step setup, and there is admin view. I'm not going to show you anymore. You can see the flow run on the whole server. It's a new tab. This is a new tab called Performance of the Flow Runs out of box from Tableau. And I showed you earlier a little bit that you can see the history, errors, very nicely designed features, similar as extracts, almost no training again. Recap, Tableau Prep Conductor, license, yes, you need, unfortunately. Server setup, 5 steps. Sorry, go back and managing. There are multiple things you can do, very, very similar as extracts or workbooks. And the issue failure will be sent out automatically, very nice. And of course, as admins, you can monitor what is going on the server. All right. Let me move on next module. So I went to 1 hour already. I have another 20 minutes. Let's finish this catalog before I answer questions. Catalog. I'm going to cover why catalog, what is the problem try to solve, and license, of course, the server setup, the permissions, and the APIs, and so on. So first of all, what is the problem we are trying to solve here? Very simple, it's a data lineage problem. More specifically, if the data source is changed, how do I know which dashboards are impacted? This is a simple question. This is a question that have been asked by many teams. Unfortunately, we do not have an easy answer. Why? Why is it so hard to get data lineage out of Tableau? I guess you probably know all those metadata is actually in the XML. When you have hundreds of thousands of XMLs, you try to pass XML, get your answer with one database change or one column change from data source. You have to pass through all the thousands of XMLs to figure out if there's anything impacted. It's very, very difficult. It just takes a lot of time, very slow process. It's not in the table. You may question, why it's not in the table? Well, in this way, Tableau can have a desktop without database, if you think. Tableau desktop, everything's in the XML, you don't need a database. For the last few years, the community has a solution called TWB Auditor. It has been version 1, 2, 3, many people contributed to this TWB Auditor. Mainly what it tries to do is mainly to grab the passing data from XML and try to change it to try to load into a table. That's all. Because once it's in a table, we know that we can, it's much easier process for us to query. That's pretty much high level what the community solution is. There are mainly two challenges. It has been working. Okay, it helps a lot of people. Even I have that solution. But for me, it has two challenges. One is very slow process. Depends on your size of your workbook, how many workbooks you have. For me to run one time, it takes more than 1 day. And of course, the offline process. The second thing is I'm not quite sure the accuracy of the customer SQL piece, because I don't want to miss some information when I give answers to other business people about impact workbooks. What is Tableau solution? Voila, Tableau Metadata API. Tableau Metadata API is the magic. This TSM command line, how to enable that after you upgrade to 19.3. What it does is very simple. Tableau Metadata API will grab from all the workbook XMLs, data source XMLs, and make metadata to some tables. Tableau calls it external asset tables, or you can also say catalog tables. That's what the metadata API does out of 19.3. And what is more, actually this piece, guess what, is free. You do not need license. On 19.3 server, as soon as your server is upgraded, after you run the TSM maintenance metadata service enable command, you have to run this command, okay? The catalog data available in the Postgres for read-only users without data management add-on license key. And in this slide, feel free to take a screenshot. Those are tables there. This is a partial table. There are a few other tables, but most common used ones on the top 4. I think I'm going to show you. I think you want to know this more. Again, this feature is there without license. Why this is important? We're the admin. Think about it. We can query this data very fast we can get our questions answered already very fast without license, without additional add-on license. This is a data sitting available in the Postgres, which we all query. We have many different customer views. Just build a customer view. You can answer questions. When data source changes, what's impact workbooks? Boom, voila, easy. And with pretty accurate customer SQL, because Tableau built this first. If you want, you can also make this available to your users by using some row-level security, for example, if you want, makes better. You can already build your own small application for this purpose already without add-on license. Okay, let me show you what Table does. I joined the things already. Okay. By the way, I will write a summary and this weekend make this available, even this workbook available in a summary that you can download this workbook. Okay. Database asset table joins with table asset, makes sense, right? Database table. Okay. And then table joins with a column, makes sense, right? Now the key table, which I didn't know, I had to ask the dev team, what is the table I can join from asset table back to the regular Tableau table? That is a table. Table underscore asset source. Okay, I will show you what is table, the value over there. Table underscore asset, table underscore asset source. Okay, this is the table. I'm going to click this table, see the value. Once you see it, you will have much better understanding why I'm so excited. All right, you got source type. Again, this source is workbook or data source or flow. Okay, table asset ID, and you got a source ID. That's the key. When this is source ID, it means data source ID. When this source ID, it means workbook ID. When it's flow, it means the flow ID. Okay, that is a key thing. That is a key linkage. How do you join this table with data source, flow, and workbooks? Probably you may have other ways to join, but here's how do I join. Okay, left join for sure, right? And here's what I joined. Data source, I just had one, of course, source ID equal to data source ID. Now for source type, I joined with join calculation. I just hard code it as a data source. Are you with me? Hopefully. Similar things to a workbook. Left join, source type. In this side, I choose source type. And on the other side, I do a similar edit join calculation called workbook. That's it. And then from here, you can build any fancy stuff you want. I have not built yet, but I will give you this basic join there. Or feel free to take a screenshot. This is a key table, provides linkage. Okay. I just sit here for a second. If you want to take a screenshot, this is how the join works. All right, go back to my slides. Again, this is so cool. Each feature is available. 19.3 out of box without add-on license for admins. Why I say for admins? Actually, technically it's for the Postgres workgroup read-only users. All right, so now you wonder, what is a catalog? What's the value of a catalog? How I see it is that catalog is nothing but front-end presentation of Tableau metadata API, a front-end presentation. That is available if you have add-on license to all your server users. That is pretty important feature for a lot of users, a lot of teams, a lot of companies. It's available right away over there. I think you understand. All right, going to my Tableau server again. Okay, in this case, I'm going to show you Superstore data, for example, again. Go to my workbook. Let's do a Superstore. So click anything. For example, I click performance, for example, anything. Now, you will notice this is not new, okay? This has been there for a long time, okay? What is new here? If you have the add-on license, you will see the data detail is new. Let me focus on my mouse a little bit. Data details is new, okay? Of course, you have auth data available 9.3 out of box, but data details only available if you have the add-on license key. I click data details, what I see? Data details, it shows me workbook name, owner, one was modified last time, it shows me 2 data sources, sales targets, sales supervisors, sales superstores, and it's showing me the columns of these things. So you click any of these, which is what I did, it goes to regular workbook data source. Now you see a tab called lineage. This tab is available only if you have add-on license. When you click this tab, you will see the lineage beautifully. Okay, it shows I got Superstore. I got the data source is using 2, table 3. Why? Just because there are 2 public data sources, one embedded. Let's click to see them. And this workbook has 20 worksheets. I have 2 data sources published. As you can see, 3 tables with 3. One of those is embedded. And of course, these 3 databases. Okay, beautifully. I click to see the details. And also, you will see external access icon here. Again, it's on the top, which means it's available for all the users. The ones below is only for admins. Okay, it's on the top. You click here, you will see all the databases, files, or tables based on your permission. Okay, in this case, I see a lot of these tables are from the assets table, okay, outside Tableau. You can see lineage, you can see the owner, and so on. Beautiful, you can see the tables. Again, this, I have historical events, I have sales, I got a lot of good stuff. This is available for all the users. You can see lineage. If you have a flow, the flow will be part of lineage as well. You can see who is the owner, and you can email this guy about whatever things you want. You can see you change something, what's impacted workbook right away. You have a data source, for example, I do one. For example, change this one. It impacts 4 workbooks connected, 16 sheets. Okay. A lot of new features here with catalog. Let me go back to my slides. Sorry. Quite a few things I wanted to share. Okay, we talked about this already. The setup, pretty simple. Actually, upgrade 19.3, run the TSM command. You should see the assets table populated without license. And initially, it may take some time to populate this table value. And ongoing, I think it takes, for me, depending on your server, takes about 2 minutes. If you publish a new workbook, within 2 minutes, new metadata, catalog data should be available. Within these 2 minutes, Tableau gives you kind of a warning notice saying the data may be still in loading, which is pretty good. And if you have a license key, apply license key, you will see the catalog automatically checked. You will see also the permission automatically granted. Let me show you that piece, which is at a site level. If you have license key for the add-on, you will see two more things here. You will see the catalog checked automatically as default. You also will see permissions checked. I strongly recommend just use a default. So what this does is automatically grant permissions based on the data source publishers. I'll talk about permissions next. Okay. Next, talk about permissions. Who can see the external assets? Of course, other than the Postgres users, we talk about on the Tableau portal. Who can see them? Well, as permission. Basically, Tableau, once the flag is turned on, you automatically grant permissions. Tableau follows the data source permission, workbook permission. Anybody has a view permission will have the external asset permission. Who? Those people? Of course, owners, project leaders, project owners, and if you are the interactors of the workbook, and the workbook has embedded data source, you will get a permission to see the external asset. But what if the interactors using, if the workbook's using the published data source, published? The answer is no. You will not see the permission. I'm going to skip that part, too complicated. What you will see is like this. If you have a published data source, maybe I show you it's better. If I show you, for me to show you it's better, I go log in different user, because earlier I was logging as admin user. I see all the permissions. I'm logging to this time to a different user. You will see the permissions. Got things wrong. I'm going to show you the permission thing. Okay, log into a different user, interactor 1 in my example. I'm going to click the workbook, Superstore. I go to the lineage. See that? I want to show you this. Okay. So I'm logging to interactor 1 as a regular user, not admin. I'm able to see one data source, but I need a permission to see other two. Reason is that other two are published data sources that I don't have connect permission or view permission to. This one, I have a full permission to see the details from the data column metadata perspective because it's embedded. Just want to show you again, it has 3 data sources. See that? One is embedded, other 2 are published. I don't have the permission to see the published. In order for me, this user to see, I need to have view permission to this published data sources. Okay? That's what users will see. Actually, it's not bad design for me because I'm able to see the relationship. Okay? I can see got 3 tables, but I just don't have a permission to see the table name details. If the table, if the data source is certified, I'm able to see that, certified or not. But I just don't have permission to see the detail name, column name, and the details. That is how the permission works. I have 10 more minutes. I'm going to ramp up very quick. And then I'm going to have a question and answers. This is what I wanted to show you. Permissions, without view permissions, I can still see the assets are related to each other, the relationship. I can see data source is certified or not, but I cannot see the name, quality details. I cannot see table name details either. That is permission. Move on next, REST API versus other APIs. There's a metadata API, there's REST API, there's a PostgreSQL that you can query the asset. What difference? Metadata API and the PostgreSQL is mainly for you to query the relationship. But the REST API you can update, you can add, you can delete the asset information. This is a different thing. I don't know how to use the graphic QL yet. The permissions using the REST API, permission followed. Metadata API, permission followed. Postgres, of course, no permission. You are accessing database level directly. I'm going to skip that part, doing the recap very quick. Then I have 10 minutes to answer the questions. All right, Tableau catalog recap is mainly designed to answer the lineage question, so we can understand the impact analysis. It also helps people to correlation their data. You can certify the data source. People can see the certification icon there. And also for discovery. People can search, when you search right now, people can search the column name as well, not only the workbook or view name. The search is working differently right now because the searching go through not only the Tableau base tables, but also the external metadata table, which is awesome. License is required if you want this catalog feature to be available to all the server users. But for admins, you can query it from Postgres directly. Permissions, automatically grant permission is recommended. And for published data source permission, you may have to review how your permission is setting. I think that's probably I'll stop here. I'm not driving to the server admin. If I show you one slide for server admin tool, maybe I'll do a separate session for this. There are multiple tools available on the server management tool set. You got Splunk, covers logs. You got Splunk doing some CPU memories. You got LogShock for log. You got Tableau for the CPU memory and other things. And you got admin views, Postgres. So what this Tableau server management tool tries to cover is that one tool cover all this, but they are not there yet. Since it's an earlier version release, Tableau has to enhance the current tool to make it really work better. But it's a great idea. I'm going to stop here and try to answer the questions people have. We have 8 more minutes. Okay. Feel free to submit your questions through Q&A. Sorry, it took a little longer to get where we are so far. I do have extra 10 minutes after this. If people want to stay for the questions, I'll be happy to help out. Just for the data management and the server management add-on below, the number licensing include the total number of keys. They include total number of keys, not just assigned. That's a very good question. That's a very good question. I don't know. It's include the total. Yeah, you bought 2,000 subscriptions, but you only enabled assign 1,000. So what is the add-on license you should buy? Ask the sales rep. I don't have this answer. Very good question. Philip again. Can we point admin report to the external repository? There's no admin report on the external repository. The workbook I showed you is the one probably you should use. Sanchit, is there a limit to the number of environments we can add to the Tableau server management add-on? That's a very good question. Limit to add server management add-on. Ask the account manager. I really don't know. I think based on what I've seen, I've not seen the limit on adding how many servers you can have, as long as those servers are 19.3. If the server is not 19.3, it doesn't work. And this is one. Second is I do see a limit on the size of the server you have. At the beta, they're saying maximum 40 cores. Later on, I think they change it to like 1,800 views per hour. That sounds to me at this version, if the log's too big, it may take time for the server management add-on to get logs timely. That's what I see the limit. Okay, I don't know if there's limit on how many environment you can connect to. What is the calculation used for Prep Conductor license, i.e. how many Prep Conductors can be added to the server? Prep Conductor license similar, as that basically Prep Conductor is part of data management add-on. So whatever license you have for your server, that's my understanding of the license you need for the add-on. Joseph, can the metadata also be updated? Yes. For example, you can update the metadata directly using the REST metadata API. Yes, you can. Philip again. What is the performance impact being introduced because of Prep Conductor? What I do is that I have a Prep separate cluster, not separate. I have limited the Prep Conductor in only one of my background nodes. So I don't have impact on the rest of background nodes. That's one. Second one is in my environment, it's still early beginning, earlier phase of doing the flow. I only see less than 100 flows so far, so I have not seen the impact yet. I'm encouraging more people to use the flow, the conductor, so I can find out more. Pradeep, is lineage show list all the tables used in the embedded data source? Yes, lineage shows not only embedded, but also published. So all. Yes. Pradeep, is there any easy way to find in one screen if a table in the data source change, all the workbooks impacted? That's what you have to query. That's a very good question. Pradeep wants to see if a data source change impact all the workbooks. Actually, the lineage, if you look, actually it goes table by table. Actually, it does. Actually, it does. Pradeep, actually, I'll show you. Okay. Okay. If you go here, okay, go to the external asset, go to a table. Oops, what I log in the wrong person. You go to the external asset, log on table. With one screen, you will see all the impact of workbooks. Yes, I asked this question by myself. For example, this one. Okay. This one, if I change this table, this is a table. Okay. I know I'm impacting 4 workbooks. That's it. Right away, you see the right away. Okay, it's available one screen. Very simple. From here, from external asset link. Okay, all right. Chang, can we get lineage of columns so that if we change a column and see which workbook elements impacted? Yes, you can. Of course, go to the. You can get a column as well. For example, go to here, go to table level. Let's say I go to table level. Okay, I go to historical event table. Go to this column level. You can. That's how you will see impacted. This impacts on 2 workbooks. Okay, 2 worksheets. Yeah, you can. Rawi, server admin tool, I think it is for 48 cores. Okay, good to know. Thank you. Server management tool is for 48 cores maximum. It's good to know. For me, it's too small. Sorry. Tableau has to work on this. Also, will Tableau metadata API get a table names from custom SQL? I think so. Again, the question is, will Tableau metadata API get a table names from custom SQL? I think so. You have to try it. You find out different. There'll be a bug or something. That's all I have for the questions. Any other questions people have? Okay, 2 more came. We have proprietary like core license. Can we buy server? Yes. Can you buy a server license add-on? Of course you can. you have a core-based license. You can also buy the add-ons. Ask your account manager how much will be. Backup does not require encryption key, all right? It's the same when we move to different server and restore to old. Yes, that backup does not need, restore does not need. You can restore from backup from one server, restore to another server. You will not be asked for the encryption key because encryption key and the other details are handled as a part of backup automatically by Tableau. That's awesome design. Another question, list of workbook elements impacted, not just entire workbooks. Oh, you want to see not only the impact on the workbook, but also where, which part of the workbook? You have to go figure out. I don't know how. That's a good question. That's a good question. And Shok, we have a critical issue with our server during the OS upgrade to Windows Server 2016. Get vulnerability errors on flex error, FlexNet. Looks like license error. That flex error, I'm getting that from my desktop. That's a license error. Please work with Tableau support for the license error, for the upgrade error, please. Do you see the issue like this before? Not on my server, but on my desktop, I see this issue happens quite often. I don't like that. When I ask technical support, they're saying it is no issue. Well, there may be a no issue, but Tableau has worked on license repository. License repository was very old, has many challenges. Yeah, that's why they're saying in a new release. I don't know why it's new release. Any other questions? That's all I have. All right, if not, thank you very much for your time, and I can hopefully we'll see everyone at the TC19 in Vegas. We will have a user group meetup. What I call is more like small reunion for some of us. Have a great weekend. Bye.